how can the Son of God, as we know Jesus is, also be the everlasting Father? Jesus is everlasting, which means he is without end. If you think about historical figures who we can all remember and often know about, it's often people who have either led nations or they've won military battles or they've invented life-changing devices. And think about this, the most influential figure in human history never ruled a nation, never won a military battle, never invented a life-altering device, never even had a massive following. I mean, shortly after his death, there was about 120 people in a room praying and wondering, what do we do next? And yet 2,000 years after his very unglamorous death, Jesus remains the most quoted, the most sung about, the most painted, the most inspirational, the most influential, the most well-known figure in human history. He is everlasting in every way. And the fact that his reputation still looms strong among us is evidence that this prophecy was about him and him alone, everlasting. And you can see that from the very beginning in Exodus all the way through the very end. God is coming to lead like a father, and Jesus represents that in a perfect way. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 3 says Jesus is the exact representation of God's being. John chapter 1, in the Message version, it says, no one has ever seen God, not so much as a glimpse, but this one-of-a-kind God expression who exists at the very heart of the Father has made him plain as day. What Jesus was coming to represent when he showed up on the scene was the heart of the Father. And it's the way that he wants to govern your heart as well, like a loving father. That's what Jesus came to do, was to heal our understanding of who God truly is. If you want your view of God healed, you got to look at Jesus. He is the exact representation. He's the one who came to represent God the Father, the Heavenly Father, who created all of this and orchestrated all of this. If we want to know who God is, we look at Jesus, because they are one and the same, like Father, like Son. I love meeting people's dads, because when I meet people's dads, I have a deeper understanding of who they are and why they are the way they are. And I have all these this is why you are the way you are. And I just got a glimpse of who you're gonna be in 20 years. And I just love meeting people's dads, because like father, like son, and in many ways, like father, like daughter. We represent our parents in different ways. Jesus represented the Father perfectly. And now dads, I know the pressure that comes along with that. But while you are an example of who God can be and should be in the life of your children, Jesus is the perfect example. And he is the one who has truly come to heal our broken understanding of who God is. The Father heart of God is what Jesus came to bring into the world. Jesus was constantly either reflecting or teaching or helping people try and grasp that the God of the universe, himself included, is a loving Father, is a good Father. It's ultimately what the human heart desires above all else, is a good Father. And then the question becomes, well, what is a good Father? What really makes up a good father? I believe one of the best places to see this is actually more in the Easter version of the Bible than the Christmas version of the Bible. It says in Mark chapter 15, verse 1, very early in the morning, the chief priests and the elders, the teachers of the law, and the whole Sanhedrin made their plans. And so they bound Jesus, they led him away, and they handed him over to Pilate. In verse 2, are you the king of the Jews? Pilate asked. Pilate just wanted to get to the heart of the matter. Like I've heard you say, I know the accusations. They claim that you've taught some things that are not aligned with their theology. They claim that you're kind of out of control. They claim that you're a threat to the religious system. They claim that you're a threat to Rome. Pilate just cuts to the heart of the matter and asks him, are you the king of the Jews? Are you the Messiah? Are you the one they have been waiting for? And Jesus says this as his response, you have said so, meaning you got it. You're right. I'm the one. I'm the Messiah. I am the King of the Jews. And it says Pilate was struck with wonder. I want y'all to think about this. Think about the many opportunities that Jesus could have claimed to be the Messiah, the King of the Jews, because that's how a father leads. A father leads from the place of self-sacrifice. The Father provides from a place of self-sacrifice. The Father protects from the place of self-sacrifice. The Father loves from the place of self-sacrifice. Jesus was a leader unlike anything anyone had ever seen. And when Pilate saw him face to face, he was struck with wonder.